Hi! My name is Ida and today's video is all about how I made my EP. So my EP is called Constellations and it came out on October 18th everywhere, so I will put some links in the description beneath this video if you haven't heard it already. Since I did everything myself, I thought it would be fun to just make a video where I take you through all of the steps in the process. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. I'm still making a video every day in October and I will keep on making videos every week after that as well. I got the idea for this EP this winter and I started working on it in March. But the overall idea was the theme, which was Constellations, and I knew that I wanted that to be the title. I also knew that I wanted the EP to be out in October because that's my favorite month, and I was already starting to plan the whole one video every day thing, so I thought that would fit nicely together. The idea behind the theme is how people can be like little stars and then we can draw lines between them and create constellations and see kind of how we belong together. And on another level, I wanted 4 songs that also could be looked at as 4 kind of different little stars, and then the EP would be the whole kind of constellation or the whole picture where all the individual parts got a new meaning when you saw them together. So I wanted to create something where that was present in all of the songs, and I also kind of wanted this space theme. I have made a whole video about songwriting before, so I will link that up here. But the first thing I did after I had the idea was that I started writing all of the songs. And I actually had all of the titles and which order I wanted the songs to be in. And I also wanted all of the songs to have their own individual sound. So I had kind of all of the ingredients laying out before me when I started writing. The first song that I wrote was Spaces, the first track, and for this I had the melody line of the refrain recorded on my phone, and I didn't know what kinds of lyrics that should be, but I just had this downward step melody. I also had the spaces between us part, so that's why I wanted that to be the title, and I felt like this really fitted with the theme. I just wanted a song that could resemble that feeling of wanting to go into space and really seeing the gaps between people and things and trying to fill these spaces with meanings. And the tone of the song is kind of hopeful, I think. In the lyrics there are also some references to Across the Universe by the Beatles. That song has one of my favorite lyric lines, which is "Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup." I don't know what it is about that, I just think it's really beautiful. And so I wanted to make a little reference to that with the lines, "Words are flowing out like through a tearing page, collect our thoughts like tears in a paper cup." And I also like how the words tearing and tears kind of belong together. The second song, 736, has the lyrics that I'm most happy with. And this title was also planned, I think, a year in advance or more. And that's also a reference to something. My favorite song by the 1975 is You, as you might know. And You has the hidden track, and the hidden track is Milk. So we have You and then some space in between, and then Milk. And Milk starts at 7:36. So I wanted to make a song that would kind of sum up the space between these songs and have some references to both of them and kind of create something new out of that. And in a way it's also about the whole songwriting process, and I just really liked putting in all of these references. I really like references in lyrics, and maybe that's why I liked 1975 so much in the first place. The third song is Paint by Numbers. When I was little I used to do a lot of like paint by numbers paintings, and I feel like it really goes together with the theme of like connecting the dots and stuff, and also it comes after a song that has numbers in the title, so I also thought that was fun. This song I wanted to be like the fun ukulele song, so it was supposed to be short and cute and on the ukulele, and I didn't want a bridge, but I wanted a modulation. And this is the happiest song on the EP. The line I like the most is, "And in time they'll never know just where my hand ends and yours begins, don't care," because it fits the theme with connecting the dots, only it's in a physical way. So connecting the dots physically by holding hands, that was the image that I was trying to create. And this song is really about the beginning of a relationship where you don't know where you're going, but you just have to kind of trust the steps and hope that they take you where you want to be. The last song is Stella Marie, and that's actually an old song. So I wrote this one in 2007. It was inspired by Oh Stella by PG Harvey. The song starts with Stella Marie, You're My Star. And I really thought that this Stella Marie song fitted nicely with the others in this EP collection, because it is about how you relate to something above you or within you or both. I look at Stella Marie as kind of a guiding star, which is your motivation and inspiration. And after all, this thing needs to be found within you. So this song is about the relationship that you have with your own motivations and how you kind of move forward. And even when you feel like you're all alone, you still have this within you. So I wanted the EP to end like that. The first one I started to record was Spaces, and I wanted this to have kind of a synth sound. All of the synths are actually just MIDI sounds from GarageBand, and I used my MIDI keyboard or my microKORG for some of the bits, but for a lot of them I just played on the keys on the laptop. So I'm not going to go all into details with the technical stuff here, but on GarageBand you can either record actual sound that you create physically, or you can create MIDI sound that the computer creates. And the good thing about the MIDI sound is that you can change the tempo after you have recorded without it ruining everything. And I was really unsure about the tempo for this song, so I started just recording the MIDI synths, and then I tried singing over it, and I kept trying different tempos until I found the one that I liked. And then I recorded some piano, so that's actual piano sounds that I recorded with the piano and this microphone here. This is the microphone that I use for recording everything, basically, and it's plugged into my Zoom hand recorder. I have a whole video on the equipment that I use, so I can link that also up here. Yeah, it's not that fancy equipment, and my studio is just this office in my bedroom. So if it sounds like I made it myself in my bedroom, it is because I did. But yeah, I recorded vocals through this microphone, and I made some MIDI drums, also using GarageBand and keys on my laptop. And GarageBand also has some drum loops that you can use. So what I do is that I take these loops and then I cut them into little pieces, and I puzzle them together in a different way so that it doesn't sound completely like the actual loops from GarageBand. I like to make them my own. What I'm most happy with on this track is that I was able to create some separate melodies, so like the bass line and some of the synth lines have their own melody. Usually I don't pay that much attention to these things because I'm so concerned with the vocal melody and especially the lyrics, so I'm just like doing the background music to get the lyrics to be heard. But this time I was really trying to create a complete track with some separate melodies and stuff, and I'm really happy with how it sounds. For the second song, I used the electric guitar and bass, and I plugged them into the hand recorder. And I also played some drums on the keyboard using the MIDI drums. My biggest problem here was that I wanted to do the whole guitar thing in one take, and I wasn't totally tight, so it sounds a bit messy at times. And then I added some more synths just to hide the fact that it was messy, but I kind of liked it because the theme of the song is also kind of messy, and some of the lyric lines are about, you know, hiding in the sound and stuff, so I tried to just create a lot of sound, basically. I also added some glockenspiel because that's kind of my thing now, I guess. I want to have these fun sounds that doesn't sound too complicated but still are recognizable, so I tried to do that also for this track. For the third track, which is Paint by Numbers, I just played the ukulele and the glockenspiel, and then I added the vocals and a lot of harmonies, and this was done rather quickly. I think I used one afternoon to record everything and then a couple of hours to like mix the balance properly and stuff. And I'm also really happy with adding the glockenspiel, because even if all of the songs have their own individual sound, I still wanted to have some pieces that brought them together, because yeah, the constellation thing that I talked about. And the last track, which is the old song, is kind of the one that brings everything together. For this one, I also played the guitar, plugged it into here and recorded it in GarageBand, and I added both glockenspiel and melodica, and also some more synths that kind of sneak their way in. I also added one last finishing touch. I wanted some background noise to start the first song and end the last song. And as you might notice, if you listen to the whole EP on repeat, then you get the same sound that kind of brings everything together. And I really felt like this little detail helped make it into one unit of sound, even if all of the pieces are kind of all over the place at times. Then came the mastering problem. I have never mastered a track in my life. I thought that I had, because I thought that when you have a GarageBand project and you export it to your hard disk, that's mastering, but it isn't. And I was starting to notice that the volume was an issue. I had never really thought that much about it before, but of course the GarageBand projects are not as loud as the music that you normally listen to, and in this case I wanted the music to be as loud as everything else, so that was quite annoying. And I complained to Hiki Music about it on Instagram. This is a shout out to Hiki Music. I don't know if that's how I'm supposed to pronunciate it, but I am Norwegian, so I'm just going with it. Hiki Music makes really cool beats. We also have a song together on Spotify, so I will link that one below this video, and also all of his social links and stuff. So I was talking to him and complaining about the sound and the volume, and he said, oh, you kind of maybe need to master some things. And he actually offered to do it for me, but since I was on this whole I'm going to do everything myself ride, I wanted to try. And I found an article about how to master tracks in GarageBand, and it was really helpful, but I had never done it before, so it was kind of hard, and I didn't have that much time left until I had to actually finish the project. So I know that the mastering isn't perfect, but considering that I had never done it before, I think that the learning experience was really good. If I am to make music again, which I hope I am, I will be more prepared. But for now, I think I am happy with where it ended up, even if it's a bit of a hot mess, especially on the second track. But again, it kind of fits the theme, and I did make it myself in the bedroom, so what can you expect, really? The album art is also made by me. This is painted with watercolor, and then I painted some things with white marker on top. That's how I usually do things. I don't always paint with watercolor, but when I do, that's how I do it. I wanted the title to be written in kind of a constellations type-y font. And yeah, I feel like it's recognizable and it looks like me, and that's all I want, really. So when all of the tracks were finished and the album art was finished, I uploaded everything to DistroKid. That's a distribution service that helps you put your music out on all of the streaming platforms. And this was also recommended to me by Hiki. Before I end this video, I want to thank my patrons, because putting the music out through a distribution service costs money, and my patrons have really helped me this year, and I really appreciate all of the support. If you want to sign up, there will be a link below. There are some special perks for patrons. I really appreciate you guys, so thank you so much, and all of the love to you. I think that's actually everything about how I made the EP. If you have any questions about the writing process or anything else, just leave it in the comments below and I will answer. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you've heard my EP, tell me what you think and which track is your favorite. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye!